Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into the first Spring 2024 Season 1 Roundup from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go, we're going to get around 14 long-range models together from the World Leading Forecast Centres to see what they are all showing for the Spring of 2024 for the first time this season, and I should get on that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video sales, our 6am UK weather forecast, got weekend forecast and 10 to 14 there coming up for you today. So please like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. And thank you so much everybody for doing that. Thank you so to Richard and our incredible bundles of fluff here. The spring updates gift is awesome. Thank you so much, Rich. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. We'll be naming those little bunnies soon. So watch your space on that. So sorry, but still coughing. Right, okay, let's do this then. So we're going to start off with model number 1, which is Canip, specific mean sea level pressure anomaly for spring 2024 from Canip. It looks rather blocked for this spring with some higher pressure to the north and some lower pressure to the south, which looks like it will probably bring in a lot of east winds. Of course, spring is the most easterly of the seasons, especially later on, April and particularly May. Always tending to have a lot of easterly influences. It looks like that's the kind of pattern that could deliver that. The temperature anomaly for spring is a little bit above average, but note much of northern Europe is having a cold spring following what has been quite a cold winter. And as far as precipitation is concerned, let's just flip that over to there. Okay, as far as precipitation is concerned, I can see it's drier than average to the north and a little bit wetter than average down to our south. Right, that's that one done. Let's go through the NWME suite of models then, starting off with NASA. So that one is going for slightly above average temperature, near north, just a little bit above really, and no particular signal for precipitation, but it does look rather wet, I suppose, just to our south. Then we've got the GM, a Canadian model, and that one is going for above average temperature too, in those orange shadings, which is like half a degree to 1 degree above normal, so not an excessively warm spring. And again, we see the pattern of it being a little bit wetter to the north and drier to the south, so that looks rather westerly, if anything, for that spring. Spring pattern. And we've got NCAR, which again is going for pretty much average temperatures, really, in those very pale colours on the scale. That's just like, you know, a few tenths of a degree above average or something. And it looks a little bit on the drier side, especially so to our southwest as well. So a bit inconclusive, I think, for the from the NWME suite of bottles. Right, this is IRI temperature probability forecast for the spring of 2024. And of course, IRI is at Columbia Climate School, International Research Institute for Climate and Society. Goodness gracious me. Try saying all that lot when you've been on the magic water. So, probabilities favouring a colder than average spring for Scotland. Actually, around 45 to 50% probability of it being a cold average spring. But England, Wales and Ireland, though, the probability is favouring above average temperatures this spring by around 45 to 50%. So I'm not sure what sort of pattern would deliver a colder than average spring to Scotland and a milder than average spring anywhere else. But anyway, that's what the probability is showing. And as far as precipitation is concerned, the probabilities are very weak actually, but if anything, might be slightly favouring a rather drier spring, particularly so for more southern regions. Patal Pangs analogues look like this. There is the 200 millibar height anomaly for spring 2024 from Patal Pangs. Still quite a bit of blocking, quite a strong blocking signal, more toward the Canadian side of Greenland, and probably some lower pressure down here. Temperature anomalies are predicted to be slightly above average, again in most of the orange shadings, which again about half a degree, 1 degree above normal. And precipitation, so it's also a little bit drier to our north and northwest, and wetter to our south and southwest. And then finally, for the American models, we have got CFS-B2. 700 millibar height anomaly from CFS, looking rather anticyclonic, actually above average height, centred out to west of the country through the Atlantic. So that leads to above average temperatures, again probably by about half a degree or so above average in most orange shadings. Not much of a signal for precipitation, but if anything, could be a little bit on the drier side, especially so just to our west and southwest. So far, a lot of people seem to be favouring not excessively mild, but a mild and average spring, and largely on the dry side. But let's come to the European model, see how they're looking. Starting off with ECMWF, this has been sea level pressure anomaly from the ECM for the spring of 2024, with higher pressure across much of Western Europe. We see temperature anomalies are predicted to be slightly above average, again around 0.5 degree to 1 degree above normal. And precipitation wise, there's not much of a signal doing, to be honest, but perhaps a little bit on the drier side of everything. You expect it to be a rather dry spring with that mean sea level pressure anomaly. Right, going through the Copernicus suite then, starting off with Meteo France. Now, this one's showing quite a bit of blocking, which is carried over from the winter pattern, its predicted winter pattern. So, high pressure within high latitude, probably going to be some sort of trough through here, I would have thought. Temperature anomalies, again, much as with all of the other models, so slightly above average, not excessive, but around 0.5 degree, 1 degree above normal in most orange colours. And if anything, Meteo France might be looking a little bit wet on the wetter side, back because we've probably got a trough underneath that blocking area of high pressure. Then we've got DWD, so this is the German model, and this one has a mid-Atlantic ridge, which you'll think is going to be bringing the wind from more of a northwesterly direction. A temperature anomaly, again, just a little bit above average, so in those orange shadings, not excessive, and as far as precipitation is concerned, so there's not much of a signal really, I don't think, doing there for precipitation. And we've got a CMCC, it's a Mediterranean model. This one also going for some blocking within high latitudes. So the temperature anomaly, again, all much of a muchness with most of these models, slightly above average, but not excessively so. And this one may be into being a little bit on the wetter side as well, though that's in line with like Meteo France, I suppose. So then we've got the ECCC. This one really strong with light blocking around Iceland and back to Scandinavia, low pressure to the south of the UK Island, and probably a lot of easterly winds during this particular spring. Hang on, I've got to flip that over. A lot of easterly. Okay, so that's not quite right. Okay, let's do that again, mate. So this is ECCC, and we see that we've got high pressure retreating into Scandinavia. So probably just a general decline in pressure actually compared to what you just saw the earlier tri-monthly period. Temperatures, again, much of a muchness with most people, are just a little bit above average, not an excessively warm spring at all. And if anything, could be looking a little bit on the wetter side as well. So I think there could be a transition going on there, actually, from late winter blocking to a more unsettled Atlantic-driven pattern. And then we've got the JMA from Japan. Yes, that is part of the Copernicus suite as well. And this one, again, showing higher pressure to the north and probably a lot of easterly winds as well during this spring. The temperature anomaly is about average to ever so slightly above. And lastly, there's not much of a signal doing for precipitation there. Right, sticking with the Asian theme, we go to China. This is the Beijing Climate Centre penultimately. If you've enjoyed this first spring 2024 seasonal roundup, please do like, share and subscribe. It shows everyone for doing that. So this is the 500 millibar height anomaly from the Beijing Climate Centre, showing quite a bit of high pressure into Western Europe, particularly to the southwest, so quite a strong ridge through the Azores high. The 200 millibar height anomaly shows it up a little bit nice, a little bit better, you know, a little bit more nicely. Again, we see the ridge from the Azores into southwest Europe. Got to be some low pressure somewhere, so probably going to be some low pressure up here. So also rather westerly spring, I have to say, with the driest weather likely to be in the south and wettest weather in the north. The temperature anomaly, and much of a muchness with all of the other models, just ever so slightly above average, around 0.5 degree to 1 degree or so. And precipitation wise, quite a weakish signal, but maybe if anything a little bit on the wetter side, but particularly so in more northern regions. And then lastly, we got our very own GWV from the UK Met showing higher pressure may be centred up towards Greenland and Iceland, trough of low in Lower Scandinavia. So that could imply that there's some cooler potential with this spring, maybe northwesterly or northerly snaps. And temperature anomalies, yeah, much yes, about average, ever slightly above, not an excessively warm spring. Lastly, we have got precipitation. It's quite a weak signal again. Looks a bit west average charred off, but if anything, might be slightly on the drier side. Okay, so that's for spring 2024, seeing around done and dusty. What do you make of that? Bit of a mixed bag, wasn't it? But I think there is a bit of a trend within a lot of those bars to be a rather anti-cyclonic type spring. Quite a bit of high pressure influences going on. And, you know, a little bit above average with temperature, but not a particularly warm spring being signalled by any of those bars. But again, none of them are going for a particularly cold spring either. But they all look, you know, slightly above average with the temperature, but not really warm. And a lot of those bars seem to have quite a bit of high pressure knocking around. Anyway, we shall find out when we do next month's second and final spring 2024 season around how things are looking, and that will be coming up at the end of February, the last Saturday of February is when we'll release that, ahead of the spring forecast that we'll be releasing the next day. I don't know what the dates are on that, but I will get those dates to you, particularly for the spring forecast, very shortly. So if you enjoyed this spring 2024 season roundup, please you like, share, subscribe. Thank you everyone for doing that. We're back in a little bit with the weekend forecast and 10 to 14 there. Thank you so much, Richard, for our amazing spring updates. Give them a little bundles of fluff there. And we'll call it a day at that. So thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you again with more very, very soon. But that's all for now. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.